Yo, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Dreamcast. I'm your host, David the Speaker, and as always, I am so glad you chose to listen, you chose to watch, you chose to come by my channel, and it is just a wonderful thing, and I appreciate your support and continued support. Now, today we're going to get right into it. The last couple of episodes have been kind of short and sweet, and I think I'm going to just keep it that way for right now because the topics that I've been discussing and talking about haven't been something that we can go all in depth on. Or we could, but it probably would be best with a guest or something like that. But I just want to continue to keep it short and sweet. So today we're going to talk about loving yourself. Loving yourself. This is a big deal when it comes to the motivational world because there are just a lot of people who beat themselves up. There are a lot of people who are self-sabotaging. There are a lot of people with low self-esteem. There are a lot of people that are going through depression. There are a lot of people who just look at themselves in the mirror and they don't think they're beautiful. And today we're going to really kind of like tackle that and talk about that because it is just like, it's just too much. It is just too much. And we're going to go a little bit sidetracked because we're not really going to discuss dreams and goals today. This is going to be something about your inner you, your what's going on in the inside of you, what's going on in your mind and in your heart. Okay, so we're going to take a little sidetrack here. But nevertheless, I promise you this is going to be a great episode. All right, now listen. When it comes to loving yourself, the first thing you have to understand about loving yourself is no one will do it for you. No one will do it for you. You have to love you before anybody else can love you. You have to be confident in you before anybody else can be confident in you. You have to know you before anybody else can know you. So it all starts with you. And what that looks like is basically going into your inner parts of yourself and finding out what it is about yourself that you like, what it is about yourself that you love, what it is about yourself that you dislike, and what it is about yourself that you don't love. This starts with you. When it's coming to loving yourself, it starts with you. Nobody's going to love you for you unless you love you for you. Okay? And in order for you to love you, you really have to discover yourself. Now, I'm speaking from experience because I went through this, okay, guys? If I could be transparent, all through my preteen, teenagers, even elementary. Now that I'm thinking about it, through my elementary, my preteens, and my teenage years, I had low self-esteem. So much so, it followed me through my very early young adult ages. I had low self-esteem. So from the ages of probably, I didn't know I had low self-esteem probably until like the 4th grade. So we're talking, what age are you in the 4th grade? I don't even remember. What, like 10, maybe? 10 or 11? From like the ages of 10 or 11, I would say all the way up until about the age of maybe like 23 to 25. Listen, I'm about to be 32. I'm 31 now, I'm about to be 32. So all the way up to the ages about 23 to 25, I had low self-esteem. That's a long time. That's a long time. And listen, I had it bad because I didn't think I was a handsome man. I didn't think I was beautiful. I didn't like myself. I thought I was corny. I thought I was whack. I struggled with other people not liking me. I didn't understand why other people liked me. I would pay attention to things about they would crack jokes on me, all these different things. So there was different things that I was going through that I would pay attention to that I did not like. And it wasn't because I didn't like it. It was because other people didn't like it. And I had this low self-esteem that was kind of ruling my life. And I didn't love myself. And I don't know if I've ever shared this before, but I'm sharing it now. I had anger issues when I was growing up. I had serious anger issues when I was growing up. And a part of it, there were many things that stemmed my anger when I was a young boy. But a part of my anger, one of the things that would stem my anger was my low self-esteem, my depression, the fact that I did not like myself. And you have to understand this. Like, there's a lot of things that when you're looking at yourself, there's a lot of things that will stem from you not loving yourself, simply. If you can really understand that there's a lot of frustration, there's a lot of pent-up anger and aggression, there's a lot of attitude tied to you not loving yourself. So when it came to me not loving myself, my low self-esteem, my depression, my anger, my anxiety, all these different things that I was dealing with a part of it came from me not loving myself. It came from me not loving myself. So when I'm talking about this topic, I'm telling you, I'm talking from experience. And one of the things that I had to realize about loving myself, let me see. I really didn't figure it out until a little bit later in my young adulthood. Now, this is where my low self-esteem and loving myself really became a big deal to me, because I didn't figure it out until I was about a young adult, when I started discovering myself. I started doing things that I was interested in. I started doing things that I like, and I began to like me for me. And then I began to find people who were interested in the same thing that I was interested in, and they liked me for me. So I found interest in myself first before other people found interest in me. One of the things that, so I'm going to say this, and I don't mean anything by it, but it's just true. So being a black man, doing things outdoors, at least in this part of the country, down south, it's a different world out there. But this part, I live on the northeast coast, okay? Doing things outdoors as a black male is not common. And amongst our community, it could be viewed as weird and different. And I've made it my goal. Listen, I've made it my goal to break our community out of this, because I'm like, it doesn't matter if I'm black. This is what I like to do. Okay. But anyway, I like to do things outdoors. I like to hike. I like to camp. I like to paddleboard. I like to kayak. All in all, I like to fish. I like to do things outdoors. I want to get into hunting. I haven't gotten into hunting yet. I really want to get into it. I want to hunt. I want to do all these different. I love being outdoors. The outdoors is like where I decompress, but it's also where it kind of like feeds me. I just love it. It rejuvenates me. It fills me up. It fills my tank up. I love being outdoors. And this is one of the things that I discovered. And people didn't like that. Some of my friends didn't like that about me. Or it's not that they didn't like it, but they were like, oh, you want to do that? You want to hike? You want to camp? Like, that's different, Dave. Like, you weird. But, do you. But, I had to get to a point where what they said didn't matter. Because it's what I love to do. It was what I wanted to do. It was what I was interested in. Okay? So that was a big deal for me. Discovering that I truly love the outdoors was a huge, huge deal for me because I began to do things that I love. I began to do things that I like, and I began to build confidence. I began liking myself. I began loving myself. And my self esteem started switching up because I was confident in myself. I was doing things I like. I didn't care whether you liked me or not. I liked it. This made me genuinely happy to do it. So I didn't care whether you liked me or not. I didn't care whether you wanted to go with me or not. I'm still going. I'm still doing it. And it's not that I wanted to be lonely. It's not that, I was cutting people off. I still have my friends. I say, you want to go hiking with me? I really like hiking. So my friends at first, they were like, nah. But then they were like, let me try it out. David really likes doing this. I'm a friend of him. Let me try something. And they started liking go hiking. One of my friends, he likes to go. He's been waiting. We got to go hiking. I told him we got to go to one of the places we go to. It's Mount Tammany. Is that up in North Jersey? Is like the Delaware Water Gap. Or is it South Jersey? I don't know. I gotta look at it on the map, but it's one of the places that we like to go. It's a pretty intense hike. He wants to go. He was like, "Oh, that looks fun. I want to do it." Blah blah blah. Like, Oh, it reminds me. Let me tell you this story, guys. Let me tell you this story. I love making fires, and not like arsonry. I like outdoors, like cooking on the grill, making a fire pit. I love chilling at a fire pit. That was one of my discovering myself. One of the things I found that I like was just chilling by a fire pit. Amongst the black community or amongst my community, that wasn't normal. So one year, my friends said they wanted to give me a party. They wanted to give me a birthday party. They said, "What do you want to do for your birthday party?" I said, "Man, I just want to chill with my friends. I want to get around with my friends. I want to light up a fire pit. I want to get some s'mores. We roast some s'mores, play some music, and just chill out and talk and have a good time." They're like, "What? That's whack. That's whack. Can you what? What? You really want to do that? That's okay. That's what you want to do." I said, "Yes, this is what I want to do. This is what I like to do. Let's do it." They're like, "All right, well, this is what you like to do." So that's what we did. We got together. We put the fire pit up. I lit the fire. We got the chocolate out. We got the marshmallows and the graham crackers. We started roasting s'mores. We played some music. And we talked and we had a good time. And at the end of the party, at the end of the hangout, "Oh, I really like this. Oh man, this was a good time. This was a good idea, Dave. We got to do this again. This was pretty cool." But it was what I loved. It was one of my friends. He said, "Listen, you done got my daughter hooked to the fire pit. She want to do the fire pit every weekend. She want to roast s'mores every weekend. You got her hooked." It was what I loved. I found out this is something that I love to do, and it just made me happy. So this was a part of loving myself. So I did things to make me happy. I found interest in myself. I wanted to do things that I wanted to do, and that began to build confidence. It began to build love for myself because I liked myself because I was doing things that I wanted to do. Now, this is not all that entails of loving yourself. Like, this is not everything. This is not where loving yourself begins and ends. Like, this is not the only thing to cause you to love yourself. But this is one of the things. Finding interests that you like. Starting with you. You discovering you. That's a part of loving yourself. You discovering you. Nobody, again, I said it before. Nobody's going to love you for you. Nobody's going to like you for you. Nobody's going to get to know you for you. You've got to do it for yourself. You have to discover you. And that's the first step in loving yourself, discovering you. Now, another thing that you can look into when it comes to loving yourself is self-care. Self-care. You just got to take care of yourself sometimes. You got to go get a massage. You got to go get your nails done. You got to go get your hair cut. You got to go get a facial. You got to do self-care. You got to do self-care. Guys, guys, a lot of we look at self-care and we see a lot of different things for women, but self-care is not just getting your nails done, it's not just getting a massage, it's not just getting facials, it's not just getting your hair done. Self-care is different things to rejuvenate you and give your body rest. So self-care could be a number of things. It could be you going for a walk outside and just enjoying nature. It could be you're going to the gym and working out. It could be you reading a book, taking time to decompress and reading a book, doing some self-education. It could be anything. It could be prayer, meditating on God's word. Self-care. You gotta give yourself self-care. You gotta give yourself self-care. You take care of your body. You take care of your mental state. You take care of your spiritual state. You take care of your physical state. You have to give yourself self-care. And that's all inclusive. You can give yourself, like you just heard, meditating and praying, diving deep into your mental state, dealing with those areas in your life that you lack in. That's self-care. Dealing with, like, one of the things, like I told you in the beginning, and I gave you an example, was I had to discover myself. I had to figure out why I had low self-esteem. I had to figure out why I was angry. I had to figure out why I was depressed, and I had to figure out why I had anxiety. I had to sit and think about those things. And once I'd sat and thought about those things, I developed a plan to start dealing with those things and eventually getting rid of those things. That's self-care. You gotta have self-care. Okay? Everybody wants to equate self-care to just physical attributes. You gotta do work in your spiritual life. You have to do work in your mental life. That's self-care too. Don't just give it all to your physical. Yes, your body, you're feeling relaxed. Yes, you're de-stressing. Those are great things. But if you're not dealing with those toxic areas of your life, they're toxic. When you're depressed, it's toxic. When you're dealing with an anxiety attack, it's toxic. When you're fearful, it's toxic. When you have low self-esteem, that's toxic. You need to get that toxicity out of your life, that negativity out of your life. And the only way you're going to do that is if you dive deep into your mental state and you dive deep into your spiritual state. And those are intertwined. It's not like, me personally, I don't believe that you can do that separately. They're intertwined. You have to discover what's going on with you mentally, take steps to deal with those things mentally, but you also have to deal with that spiritually. You got to start praying about those things. You got to start asking God to do things with you about those things, healing you and rejuvenating you and refreshing you in those areas in your life. They're intertwined. Okay? So, when it comes to loving yourself, self-care is a big deal. You got to love you for you. You got to discover you first. You got to figure out what your interests are and what you like to do. And then you have to start doing some self-care. You have to just start doing some self-care. And the final thing I'm going to say, and I kind of briefly said it already in the beginning, but the final thing that I'm going to say, I'm going to let you know, is that you love you, and it doesn't matter what anybody else says. At the end of the day, everybody ain't gonna like you. And I know this is difficult to deal with because I'm one of those people who like to people please. I struggle with that. That's me. I struggle with that. I like when everybody likes me. I'm used to everybody liking me now. Because one of the things, this is crazy how low self-esteem can really just rattle your brain and kind of mess up your viewpoint. But one of the things I found out when I got a little bit older, a lot of people actually liked me as a person. They were like, he's pretty cool, he's pretty laid back, he's a decent guy. And as I got older, more and more people, I just realized people like me. And when I found that out, I kind of like started pulling towards it because I had low self-esteem so much. So I had an issue. It really bothered me when someone didn't like me, because I'm just like, all I have been is nice to you and loved on you. I don't understand why you don't like me. I didn't do anything to you. But that's something that I had to deal with. That's something that I had to dive in. Like, you know what? It doesn't matter if you don't like me. I like me. And there are other people who like me. So you have to realize that when it comes to loving yourself, everybody's not going to like you. Everybody's not going to love you, but that's okay. You like you. You love you. And that's all that matters. Do I need to say more? No, I didn't think so. I didn't think so. So, this week, in this new year, we're in the new year, guys. It's crazy. We're in the new year. We're probably like 3 or 4 weeks in. We're in the new year. Love yourself. Love on yourself. Discover things that you like to do. Discover things that you love about yourself. Give yourself some self-care. And it doesn't matter what people think about you. And I say that with caution because I don't want you to be so prideful and so caught up in yourself, but that's not the topic that we're dealing with. So don't be so prideful and caught up in yourself where, people can't give you constructive criticism. But that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about if you have an issue with loving yourself, okay? It doesn't matter what people say. It doesn't. At the end of the day, we live in a crazy world. This world is crazy. It's full of destruction. It's full of deceit. It's full of lies. Full of pain, heartache. But in the midst of that, there's peace, there's love, there's joy, there's kindness, there's goodness, there's faithfulness, there's patience. And you got to be able to do that with yourself first. In the midst of all this craziness, God is real. He's here. And if you truly have a problem with loving yourself, I would encourage you to seek God first, because He could really help you with that. Because God created you at the end of the day. He created you. And He loves you. And when He created you, He said it was good. So, when it comes to loving yourself, it doesn't matter what's going on around you. It doesn't matter what's going on in this world. Love yourself. Love yourself. Well, this was David the Speaker. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope it motivated you to love yourself. Until we meet again, this was David the Speaker. I just said that, but until we meet again, peace out. I love you. I'm gone. What's up, guys? It's your boy David the Speaker, and thank you for watching that last video. I hope that you enjoyed it. Now, just really quickly, if you want to continue to support me, all you got to do is like that video and subscribe to the channel. So please don't forget to do that. Also, we started the new segment called Overcoming Adversity. That means I'm looking for candidates to be on the show with me. That's right. I'm looking for people that I can interview, have conversations with, that has stories and memories of them overcoming adversity. So if you have a story or you have a memory of you overcoming adversity, I would love to have you on the show. Well, how do you do that? How do you get on the show? You simply need to email me at davidthespeaker@gmail.com. And when you email me, just give me a brief summary of your story. Say, hey, David, I love the videos. I want to be on the show. Here's a story about me overcoming adversity. And then I'll reach back out to you. We'll talk and get a good date and a good time for you to get on the show. So if that's you, you have a story, you want to be on the show, please email me. But until next time, this is David the Speaker. Peace and love. I'm out.